Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Up right in corner, we got Aegis starting as the red Zerg, bottom left in corner. We've got Favorit starting as the blue Nexus. As a random side topic of curiosity, if you have a favorite colored lightsaber, I know this seems like a total non sequitur, and it is. I mean, it's StarCraft, Star Wars, but if you had a favorite lightsaber, drop a comment. And if you did not care at all, also mention that in the comments. This isn't me comment fishing, because I'm pretty sure that when you add comments it boosts video or whatnot. It's literally not that. This is literally me utilizing the small audience I have as a mental experimentation on a conversation I had just before launching this. So it's an oddity. I promise you guys, like, it's not me or like what's clout fishing. Is that there should be a word for this? Clout fishing. You know, leave a like and subscribe. I feel like that's clout fishing, and I don't think I've ever done that. I can't think of a single time I've ever done that, but I'm asking you guys to do it here just for funsies. It's just for funsies conversation. Overlord's first build here from Aegis. It's not aura farming. Twitch chat in the background's commenting aura farming. There is aura farming, but this isn't aura farming. Something totally different. Saying like and subscribe, commenting, it's like something else, and it's not aura farming. It looks like we're going to see another attempt at 11 hatchery, by the way, but this is a two-player map. I am shocked. Well, I guess it kind of makes sense. It's a larger map, and so going over pool or 9 pool is less favorable just because there's such a huge distance to try to cross. Favorit getting a little bit further away. Is he going to drop the mana? Okay, he is in position, did not move out of position. Okay, was able to turn around, is going to take some damage. No probe moving off the line. That drone, oh, it's re-engaging, took some free hits. It looks like he can open up Nexus first. No problem, by the way, in the space of this. We do have the drone waiting at the 12 o'clock location. Okay, Aegis able to get that natural expansion up. It looks like the spawning pool did drop in the midst of this. Anyway. Speaking of, if we could come up with a term for that, I feel like there's a lot of application because it's everywhere these days. It's politicians, like the death of media, the death of television, and I guess television kind of did it back in the day, but anyway, I digress. Drone not going for the 12 o'clock, instead moving out to scout to see what's going on. We do have a gateway drop, no forge. At this stage, the drone actually might be able to disrupt a bit of action on the front, and that, oddly enough, maybe 2 Zerglings get built and make their way all the way across, but there was a considerable delay, and Favorit is going to get the continuation on this. By the way, Assimilator, this is very greedy, by the way, but I think that, here's the thing, Roaring Currents, by the way, I didn't review the map. When we were discussing the concept of, I'm going to call it clout fishing for the moment. If it gets coined and takes off on the internet, this is the place it happened. Hatchery being, so this is Roaring Currents. Even if you cross it across the midline here, kind of an odd spot. Probe's been wiped out, by the way. But you've got the natural expansion that has a lot of gas. You've got the 12 o'clock that's got a lot. You have this base in the upper left-hand corner, but kind of the curiosity of it is it's an island. It's a pseudo-island map. This is the only bridge line between point A and point B. You've got this area here, and you've got this base here at the 6 o'clock, and this base here at the inner 3 o'clock. That count for resources, and you can see where they're island blockaded, which is a rarity. It's very rare to have island maps or anything pseudo island map. It's kind of an experimentation on it. I actually really want to see more of this sort of thing, but as an artifact, you just have a huge distance between spawns. The Zergling's going to be able to just go right in, by the way. Zealot's making the way back across 12 o'clock base. Still constructing here from Aegis. He's gone straight into Hydralisk Den. Has not produced any additional Zerglings, so the Zealots might be able to get something done. The thing is when the Zealots take off from that base and go running across, there's still a massive amount of time for Zerg to respond. And what that does is that somewhat negates Zealot pressure, theoretically. Do we have some Zerglings being built now? It looks like the Zerglings are being built now. They're fairly dedicated. These Zerglings, by the way, getting some good... Whenever the probes move like that, by the way, as a pile, they are no longer mining, and that's a significant economic disruption. Going after the gas a bit as well. Looks like they're going to be able to go ahead and micro out of this. A lot of Zerglings being created and piling on those Zealots. Aegis a little bit light on... So usually this would be an okay drone saturation, but it's a little bit light considering the map, is what I will say. Stargate is being constructed. The Zerglings have taken a bit of damage. He has managed to get some Some disruption. Looks like, is that Probe gonna... Yeah, Probe gets wiped out, so kudos to those Zerglings. Getting some good damage done. I will say this, and it looks like the Zealots have wandered up to the 12 o'clock, mostly to see mining there. Surprised the Zerglings didn't get us around. I'm guessing that Aegis was somewhat distracted by the Zerglings wandering around the front, but now going to get at least 3 Zerglings, which is what you're looking for. You can do some Mega Micro into 4, but 3 is about what you should be expecting. And Hydralisks being produced in mass, and Favorit running across the map with the Zealots. And so he'll have forewarning of the Hydralisk push. I don't know that this Hydra push is going to get a lot accomplished. Also the Zealots, the way the Hydras are coming across, they might even be able to push the Hydras back. They're not in large numbers. This is certainly going to give time for Favorit to potentially respond to this. These Hydralisks are speed upgraded, and they've got a lot of distance where they can just get a lot of damage. Do we have cannons? We have at least 4 cannons dropping. Again, problems with this map is same thing, opposite direction. One's out peeling off to go ahead and draw a number of these units to the north. Spire up. I feel like this is a favorable map for a Corsair Reaver. We'll see if Favorit opts for that. Really wide ramp, I will say, so if the Hydralisks can get there, it's effective, but the thing is, it takes forever for Hydralisks to get here. Favorit is banking some resources in case this was a continued dedication. Corsair is making its way across the map. Still sitting on 26 drones, moving up. Does Aegis go for it? Yeah, he's gonna back up. And the thing is like with a normal 973 Hydra sort of push against something like this, you end up in a better scenario because it's pretty close reinforcement point. This is a huge distance to travel. Second gas tacked on, a 4th hatchery. Aegis is kind of playing this like a typical map. Favorit has been playing this a little bit greedier. And although he is going gateway rather than robotics, neither player upgrading for drop to maybe it's just one of those things where it's not on the map pool. I don't think it's in the ladder pool right this second. Don't quote me on that, by the way. This is where I reveal the fact that I'm not a ladder player. Another hatchery getting dropped. For shame, Diggity. I play StarCraft for fun. That is unallowed in this community. Stamps his foot. Regardless, neither player really opting for anything across the median line. We do have the Spire up, some Scourge. Carapace being upgraded, maybe in anticipation of a potential Corsair attack. Zealots marching their way across. Zealot leg speed will definitely complete on the way here. The one issue is if Aegis can just get to Lurker tech, once you hold this ramp and have Lurkers planted right here, there's not a lot that Protoss can do as far as attacks on the ground. There's just, you can just smatter that. Oh, look at him give himself a hug. You can just smatter that. Looks like the Corsair is going to be able to dodge these Scourge. The Scourge were on the prowl for it. Overlord sees the Zealots making their way across. An okay SimCity here at the 12 o'clock. The Zealots might be able to swarm this though, because it is a big open area. The drone's scattering a bit. They're going to pull off the line. And it's also a large distance from here to the main, so I don't know that Aegis can reinforce very rapidly. But doing a pretty good job taking care of it. The drones have the drone losses have mostly been mitigated. The Zealots have been focus fired down by those Hydralisks very effectively, and I don't know that Favorit did a great job of focusing down any Hydralisks, so getting the much better part of that, and he's now got some Mutalisks in the air. Air control is huge. A Dark Archon morphing. We got 4 High Templar. Yeah, I think as soon as you have Lurkers here, Aegis is going to feel very, very secure. I want to see one player upgrade, go for the drop upgrade, one direction or another. Cannon defensively on the corner of that Nexus. Cannon's not quite up yet, and we do have a large... Well, we got 4 Mutalisks. That's not super scary. With a Scourge alongside. We're another base being grabbed on the interior. Looks like it's just going to be an island, a non-island game. More of a big macro map. Scourge eating some of those hits. The Corsair gets wiped out immediately by the double Scourge. And more Mutalisks are flocking forward. We do keep in mind we have the Dark Archon to the side, but he does not... Maelstrom's still researching and he doesn't have the energy as of yet. But at least he knows Mutalisks are out in the field. Aegis has gone for a big SimCity. It's a little bit frustrating because it's kind of playing typical to what you would do on a normal map, and I think Favoa should just wander out and grab his third with what's standing. The thing is, I don't know that he has the reality of the map. It looks like the Mutalisk is going to go ahead and check. Granted, he's got some Archons, right? No, he's got no Archons. I take it back. He's only got Dragoons. He's got Corsair. That would have been suicide moving out against this. I would have loved to see a fast Archon to push back the Mutalisks and Corsair escort sooner rather than later. Instead, the cannon getting dropped. The Dragoons cannot get back through the Sim City. High Templar moving this way. Is he going to Sidestorm his own probes to get rid of these guys? Let's find out. There's it spotted. They are mostly exiting, but they got a good amount of damage done. Even up the worker count. Nearly even up the supply count. Dark Archon had energy, but is just sitting in the outside. I will say Mutalisks, because of the size of these bases and the difficulty traversing, because this is kind of a odd gap in between. It's odd because this is like larger than a typical ramp, but the way Favoa set up his base, it's kind of single file, which makes the Mutalisks all the stronger. The Mutalisks re-engaging. Also, there's no range on the Dragoons. So more probes gonna end up losing their lives in the midst of this. The Dark Archon, he's like, come on, get out of the way, guys. Looks like they can cycle along that 6 o'clock and get something done. But the Mutalisk being a big pain in Favoa's side right this second. In the meantime, more Mutalisks hatching. We've got a lot of hatcheries. 7 hatcheries still sticking on layer tech. We do have lurker tech, or sorry, yeah, lurker tech. Had to stop myself for a second there. Is that lurkers? Yes, lurkers. There's the Maelstrom finally in play. But this is only against 4 Mutalisks at this stage, and the Mutalisks have already done considerable amounts of damage. To the point where Aegis has actually taken the supply lead in the midst of this. Upgrade lead, how are we doing? Are we going double? How have we done upgrade-wise back here? Favoa does have a sizable upgrade leave right this second, but again, does he have any observers? I don't see a lot of observers. This ramp can just turn into a minefield, but Favoa pressing. Aegis has not yet contained the ramp side, so Favoa might be able to make his way out. Now you have secondary problems, where you have the Mutalisk ball that's making its way around the exterior to create some issue. This base is very vulnerable, it's exposed, but you can see where it can be a sandwich issue, where you move too far down, you're pinned in between this location, and you have basically double reinforcements from the 12 o'clock and the natural expansion that can push in. The Mutalisks have re-engaged. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the Dragoons and get back to work on everything else in here. That floods the natural. The third is building, but not yet up. Corsairs have finally redrawn. Some Maelstrom and some good Sidestorms here on the front, but Favoa's got to go pretty deep, and you can see where the reinforcements are coming in piecemeal, but he might have enough to do it, because this is a big concentrated army bowling its way forward. We do have 3 sunken colonies here on the front, and I think looks like we've already expended a good portion of the Sidestorm. Never mind, we got more Sidestorm incoming, and so I think Aegis might just get overwhelmed here. He's coming in from the north. He's finally getting some lurkers in the midst of this. We have no observer. Dark Archon hanging out with the drones. And a lot of these troops lining up for the Sidestorm on entry, so Aegis getting absolutely busted. And this was at a massive distance. These Mutalisks have never stopped in the bottom left in the space of all this, by the way. So it's an odd do-or-die situation both directions. Sunken colonies being built, Aegis just trying to cling on. Observer is now grouping up as well. The Mutalisks are finally going to draw back now that the main is empty. So we got 1 base up for Favoa. Drones are going to cycle towards that 12 o'clock base. This is a lot of tech to lose and a lot of hatcheries. Looks like the Zealots have managed to get into the main, and their bloodshed is evidence. Aegis now down to 16 drones. In a chaotic finish, it looks like Favoa, at the end of the day, is going to clear this in absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. And this is one of those situations where I felt like, ooh, a nice Maelstrom tries to fall up right under the Dragoons. Getting picked off summarily. Might be able to clean up what's left, but this is now 84 supply versus 32. And I do believe it's full upgrades versus only one upgrade. So, well, not full, but it's solid upgrades, double upgrade advantage. Aegis going to GG. I feel like this was one of those cases where neither player was super familiar with this map. Neither player really had a full game plan, and Favorit just ends up on the top of the heap. What do I want to say? Chaos is a ladder. That's where we go with this. Chaos is a ladder. Blah, 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 blah. Game of Thrones, dark, backstabby, whatever not, with Mutalisks. Game of StarCraft. That's what we're playing here. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Favorit ends up taking this. Moving on to the next bracket. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.